Welcome everyone to the ALTTP afternoon daily race. We are playing a standard seed today. I'm Coy on comms. With me is Thoris. Hi, Thoris.
Hello, hello.
Thoris is from one of those countries. That's why he talks like that. I don't know which one. Scotland? Scotland, right?
That good old one called Scotland, where it's sunny sometimes and it's raining all the time.
Our runners today are Mr. Scruff, Ninja Tuna, Duke Firebird, Loose, and Prior 57. So we are doing a standard seed, so we are going to get a random weapon here from the uncle that each of our runners will have to use to get through the front of escape before they can actually start making decisions.
It appears we have a bow to start off with this race.
Bow's a pretty nice weapon. Like 30 arrows is quite a few for farming for bombs and stuff. At this point, I'm very concerned about the early flippers, though.
Could mean there's something at Hobo, something at Zora, maybe?
Yeah, the main scary thing about getting the flippers really early is that you're going to be put into this position where you're going to want to go to the Zora area, but you may not have the rupees to do so. And finding the flippers before you even had the chance to do Houlihan is going to lock out one of your ways to do a Houlihan.
And we got a very quick map check there. So Eastern Palace is a green pendant, and it's just as well we got the bow very early.
Yeah, I think Tower of Hera was another pendant, and then Red Crystal and Desert.
Yep, that was correct.
Nice lamp there in the map chest. It's French vanilla, I would say.
So that's very interesting because that pretty much puts all of Eastern Palace in logic now. Is the green pendant going to play a part?
It certainly looks that way. Like usually when I find early bow, I'm not really thinking Armos Knights, but with the lamp in hand too, and then Armos also being 2 items instead of just the 1, definitely something you'd have to consider. Arrows, of course, are a very effective weapon in the escape. 2 arrows for any blue guard, 1 for a green, and 4 for this guy.
Yeah, you're definitely given more than enough arrows to run through the escape.
Yeah, having all those extra arrows is very nice because ideally you're going to want to get bombs here so you can get the 3 items in the back of the escape. And the best way to do that is to kill more guards. Unfortunately, only Prior has found any bombs so far. So our other runners may be looking after killing a lot of ropes in the rope hallway or the rats in the sewers. Players also have the option of just ignoring bombs and just assuming that they'll get the gloves later and be able to check the back of escape then. But that becomes very dangerous if there turns out to be a glove in the back of escape, in which case they would have to go the entire way through. A loose checking the stun prize, and it's 4 bombs.
Yep, you have your boomerang. You may as well check that stun prize and get it out the way. It's a free guaranteed drop, so yeah, 4 bombs is definitely worth it.
Prior is our first player through the escape, or through the sewers, where he finds a map in the Dark Cross chest. Duke tries farming some of those ropes, but does not get lucky. It's kind of a significant time loss to kill all these extra enemies and not get any bombs to show for it. Luckily, it looks like there's nothing in the back of Escape, so our players will not be punished for missing out on those chests. Oh, Duke finds a bomb right at the last second.
That's the best time to find one. It's worse when you climb up those stairs and then you get bombs and you're just like,
Yeah, very frustrating.
I can't go back down.
And Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna also finding a bomb right at the last second. No player missing out on those 3 chests. Unfortunately, with the flippers and no gloves or boots, none of our players will be able to do a hula hand here at the start of the light world. The one way you'd normally go to get a hula hand done is completely impossible if you have the flippers.
Yeah, unfortunately setting up that trick requires you to not be able to swing. So you can jump in the river and drown multiple times just to offset that camera a little bit. There's of course another way to set it up if you had gloves, because you can open the grave there on Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's side and basically hit yourself in with the damage boost off the bomb, and that's somehow just enough to offset.
Right. It looks like he's trying to set up a hula hand, but he's about to find out it's not gonna work. 'Cause he can swim.
Now quickly, how do you recover this to make it look like you meant to do that?
Go down to Sahasrara. Clearly! I meant to do this the whole time. We'll need to buy some bombs at the Lake Hialeah shop, though. So not efficient, really.
Yep, he will not be able to see what's in Trahashala's closet without some bombs.
And in Kakariko so far, we found a sword and the ice rod and some gloves. Kind of nice from Kakariko so far. Sword and gloves, of course, are things we will absolutely need. And then the ice rod is just a nice, you don't gotta worry about it item. Prior farming the bushes for 2 single rupees to get a 200 rupee profit from the bottle merchant.
Now that is a good deal. And did I just spy a moon pearl in the back of the tavern?
Could be. Yes, you did. I had no idea. But I see it now.
So that's 2 of our 3 parts down to get into Dark World. And we're not even 10 minutes in yet.
Alus opting to check the race game item before grabbing it. Smart move when you only got 2 bombs to your name. So Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, from his unfortunate decision to try to Houlihan, has ended up doing Hobo Ice Rod Cave and maybe heading over to the Zora area without the rupees to get Zora.
Yeah, this is one of these situations where you're kind of hoping there's money in the waterfall cave.
Yeah, for sure. And keep in mind that this was in no
There
way
was a
his
hammer.
original plan. Hammer in the dam?
Just a hammer in the dam. We have Dark World access.
Nice. Mr. Scrub Ninja finds a mushroom in the waterfall fairy.
Unfortunately, not much of interest in the Zora ledge.
So Mr. Script Ninja Tuna could just cut his losses and go to Kakariko like he wanted to originally. But it looks like he's going to go turn in that mushroom right away.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something to make it worth as well, to know that doing that was actually good. And if none of our other runners go up there and find that mushroom and trade in and it's something important, he could save himself some time here.
Pryor does, with his glove, go do the Houlihan, getting him the 500 rupees, so he may be our only runner to actually check Zora. Mushroom not paying off, only 3 bombs. Duke Firebird, without the hammer yet, is heading over to Sahasrara and Eastern.
Yeah, the hammer's not going to save you much time being over here.
Well, it would be his Dark World access, and maybe he wouldn't have to come here at all. But he does find a book.
Yeah, it depends if he wants to put it off until he gets Mirror and do the Pod Eastern Palace combo.
Right. Potentially able to full clear Desert now, if it's not Boot Slot. So following his mushroom turn, and Mr. Scrub Ninja Tuna still does not want to go to Kakariko. And is also headed into Eastern. He can full clear it. He's not missing out on anything by doing this. But he will have to go to Kakariko at some point to get a sword and a glove.
It looks like we are going to the Dark World. Ice Palace is our early pendant, and Palace of Darkness is our other red crystal.
Kind of handy. Palace of Darkness, of course, completely full clearable right now. Hype Cave, probably the best I've ever seen, finding a whole 1 sword. Good job to Elise, making that big gamble to go to this 5-item location early in the Dark World.
Yep, Temper Sword will make things a lot faster. Is there really the best hype cave you've ever seen?
No, I'm being sarcastic, but it's, you know, it's probably better than most I've seen. Usually it's like 3 bombs, 20 arrows, and 3 pieces of hearts. All right, Pryor's headed down to the flipper checks. He will be able to get Zora, which our other runners have not done so. And following that pyramid check, Eluse is headed straight into Palace of Darkness.
Yep, got all the tools to clear it. We got Temper Sword to just deal with all the enemies, so makes sense.
It makes me a little concerned about when he might find the time to go over to Catfish. Because pairing that with going up to Pyramid is pretty common. He will have more opportunities to do so. Maybe like after doing Graveyard Ledge, he can continue east over to Catfish. Or if he finds the mirror, he could do it with the flipper checks that he hasn't done yet.
That's definitely always something you're trying to consider when you're routing through is, can I afford to just leave this a little bit longer?
Yeah, anytime you orphan something to the point where it feels like that's the last thing I'll ever do, you're not in that great a spot.
And Pierre did get scammed. Oh, Ella's finding the hookshot. So that gives them access to the other side of Dark World using that hookshot. So you could go up and check Catfish on the way up there.
Oh, to walk out a pod and go to Catfish that way?
Yeah, walk out pod, got to Catfish, and then hookshot across and do. Well, you can't actually do any of the checks in Northern Hyrule because you don't have the mirror.
Yeah, definitely a possibility for him to go to Catfish that way. Although I doubt he'll do that. Because he already has the Dark World access on the west side.
Yeah, it'd be much faster. If you had the mirror, you could like loop it in with some of the Northern Hyrule checks, but in this case we don't.
Yeah, mirror would make it a lot more efficient for sure. Alright, Duke not finding a whole bunch of stuff in the east area, and he's gonna turn in this green pendant for what? 20 rupees.
The seed baited us.
Eastern is a lie.
Early bow, early lamp, that screams go to Eastern, and it was like, nope, baited.
Right, is it just me, or does it seem like Pryor is super orphaning the Dark World? He did get the Moon Pearl, right?
Yeah, he got it. But he did get the book, and he knows 5-6 crystal is in desert. It may be handy to know whether or not he needs to go hunting for those boots or not.
Yeah, definitely not the craziest play to go into desert here. You just run the risk of it being boots locked and forcing yourself into a double dip.
It's one of these things, though, is like information is power.
And it is boots locked, unfortunately. Pryor not even checking the hint. He takes off.
This is where the hint is something simple, like the boots are on Stumpy. Something really basic and really obvious. So it's like, oh.
It's in your house, numpty.
Scruff seems to be heading up towards Lumberjack. Now, I don't think we actually saw any of our other runners check that cave.
I certainly don't recall it. I think one person did it, but I wasn't watching.
It looks like just a full heart container. Alright, Duke checked. Pierre, go read the pedestal. You've got the book.
Don't do it. It's nothing, probably. Honestly, in this seat, it might actually be something.
It's definitely something to rule out, especially with Eastern and Tower Hera being so easy to clear. And Titan Mitts and Pod as well. Pod is a bit loaded today.
Yeah, Pod was a very good decision there for a loose. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that more of our runners didn't go there as soon as they got Darkwood access. Pod is a very dense item location in the game, and when you have full access to it completely in logic, and it's a crystal, it seems like a good place to go. Duke is gonna steal the key? Okay. Alright.
That's a very dangerous tactic because it may turn out that bits are somewhere not easily available.
Getting murdered by the BMOs right as he's walking outside.
Thief! Having flashbacks to that shopkeeper all over again.
Don't remind me. Well, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is going to break our hearts and find out there's only couch cash on the pedestal.
We've had a dead pedestal, we've got dead Aga. What is this seed coming to?
I know, it's almost like it might be a good seed or something. I don't like it. And on the boots locked right side of desert, we find a map. And a big key. So Duke will be able to check one more item location.
Yeah, Desert is making him work for this. It's like you stole the key, but we're still going to make you work to find out what's actually here.
He's opting to Death Warp to get back over to the left side quicker, I suppose.
Yes, lacking the mirror, that is the second fastest way to travel.
Meanwhile, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna has finally made his way to Kakariko, picking up his items needed for Darkwood access. And Pryor has dipped into Thieves Town. He will be able to full clear this. He has the hammer. And Duke only getting 5 rupees from his gamble.
Yep, we have Ellis currently going after the king.
So stealing the key in Desert is definitely not in the logic. You can't ruin your seed or anything by doing it, though. It's just mostly just a big time sink.
It mainly depends on where our boots are, because in certain circumstances, even though it's boots locked, you could still just get to the back and clear it out sometimes. Depends what that big key is as well. If you got a small key on the torch and the big key and the, I believe it's the map chest, you can just go to the back and clear it without the boots and without checking the eastern side of Desert. So where
getting
does Ellis go from here?
getting
Because
hookshot
Flute-
in mid in a pod, I would have expected him to like go to Dark Death Mountain.
Yep, and that flute, you now got access.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's
mean, you had
gonna-
access before, but you had to walk.
He'll activate the flute here, but he might feel like he just needs to go to Village of Outcasts since he's already in Kakariko right now.
Yeah, just get those Dark World checks out of the way and do Thieves' Town.
He is fluting away, but not to the mountain.
Going to the desert. Ooh.
Just checking the desert ledge item, I guess.
Yeah, and then they're
then
going to
Mire
Mire. Mire, see what the medallion is, because we only have found one so far.
I used to neurotically check the desert ledge as soon as I could every game. And then over time, I stopped doing it and I started only checking it when I could actually grab it. I'm not sure which is
it
better.
was quick. Quick to get in Mire. Yeah, it's one of these things that's like, I check it while I'm there, if I have a reason to be there.
Well, I used to like if I'm doing like an early Agina cave or something, I would walk over to the ledge just to see what it was.
It's the reason for being there. It's just one of these things. It's like, if you risk going to Agina, you may as well take the time to go and check what's on the desert ledge. Because if you find out mirrors there, it's like, some people might put that off until you can mirror from Mire. And if you know the mirrors there, it's like, well, but you've got a huge advantage in that point. They do have access to Tower of Terror because they can go the long way. They can hookshot from the bottom bridge over East Death Mountain, climb East Death Mountain, and then go back across the bridge at the top using the hammer.
Prior finds the fire rod in the big chest of Thieves' Town. Kind of a big pickup for him.
Yeah, just go ahead and clear Skull Woods now.
He is a little low on hearts for this blind fight, but I think he'll be able to do it.
If he just follows the script.
He was spamming slash before the text box, and it made me worried that he didn't know the script, but he's got it now. Easy fight. Easy life.
Yeah, blind is a scary fight if you go into it without, or if you go into it casually, or if you remember it from a kid. It's like, blind is a terrifying fight, and then you realize it's all in a script. You just go, right, so if I just hit them here, 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 and stand here, I'm safe.
I remember when I was brand new to Rando, and I'd watch somebody do the blind script, and I always thought, wow, that's impossible! There's no way I could ever do that. And then eventually I looked into it and I realized, oh, that's actually kind of easy. We do find out that the boots are in Misery Mire. And Prior finds the mirror in Village of Outcasts.
So we had Mirror and Fire Rod and Thieves' Town, and we had Flute and the Titan's Mitts
And
Hookshot and Passage Artist.
Fun.
What are we actually missing in at this point? The red cane we're missing.
Let's see. We need the Quake Medallion to get those boots in Mire, at least. So that's it, yeah? Kane and Quake. Well, okay, just Kane.
And whatever medallion we need to get into Turtle Rock.
Where there's a cane on Magic Bat.
It's a cane, but it's the wrong color.
It is the wrong cane, yes.
I thought for a minute we were going to have a sub 30 go mode there. I was like, oh my god.
Alus headed straight into Meyer. Give me those
Lewis
boots.
wants those boots. He wants to go fast. Of course, it gives us an opportunity as commentators to shout, "What are those?"
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Alus will not be able to finish this dungeon without the Canis and Maria. There is still the possibility that the cane is our second item in Meyer, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimist, but I really kind of doubt it.
Yeah, the red cane and the big chest of mire is like the worst vanilla troll I think the seed can throw at you.
I still think it's Hookshot. Cane's pretty darn bad, but I'd still rather see that than the Hookshot and Slalom.
The mirror was in Thieves Town.
What was in Village of Outcasts?
I was in the village.
Yeah, I think it was the brewery chest. Basically Thieves Town, right?
It was in the vicinity of Thieves Town.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
Oh yeah, if you find boots early in a seed, you can save a lot of time on that seed because you get to run everywhere. The problem is, in this circumstance, Ellis is going quite far out of their way to get these boots.
Meyer's definitely not the worst dungeon to be double dipping, but it's not the best either. There's also the possibility that the boots just lead to the cane, though, right? Like if the cane was in Bonkrok's King's Tomb or Desert.
Yeah, true. That's when you really hate the seed, though.
Well, that's when a loose wins. What's the best dungeon to double dip? Skull Woods.
Yep, you go in there, get 2 items, and then you go in there with Tempered to kill Mothula with Spin Slashes.
Yeah. No, Skull Woods is such a nice dungeon when it comes to like double dipping that most players treat the front as if it were overworld anyway. Don't even think of it as a double dip.
Yeah, because it used to be a sort of meme in the... Oh, there's the boots. There used to be a meme in the community because Pendant Skull Woods or just normal Skull Woods always had something. The front half always had something.
Looks like Pryor will be our first runner to do both Village of Outcasts and Palace of Darkness.
Yep, Prior will become fully loaded. And yes, our second item inside Mire was half magic. Not required, but very, very nice to have.
Trying to think what Pryor's going to be able to do that nobody else will, and the only thing I can come up with is Checkerboard Cave. So Checkerboard Cave has the game, maybe? Huh?
They'll be able to do Graveyard Glitch as well. And
yeah, but
45.
I mean, from having done both locations, like having mirror and mids.
Yeah, that would be Checkerboard Cave, and that'd be it.
Oh, I guess the floating island. Although I think that was nothing. That would also be locked by both.
Yeah. There's never usually anything on floating island though.
Alright. Duke taking no chances here in Thieves Town. Get out of the way, grasshoppers.
Yeah, those grasshoppers hit hard, especially on Green Milk. They will kill him.
Absolutely.
And the medallion for Turtle Rock is Quake.
Well, that's
so
nice.
We are actually just looking for a red cane now.
Has anybody seen the Cane of Samaria?
Hookshot Cave, unfortunately, having Diddly Squat.
Alus getting our boots checks out of the way. There's a fire rod for Duke Firebird. Where is the Star and Cane? It's probably in like Tower of Hera or something.
Or Pendant Ice Palace.
Oh, that's just mean.
See, the problem Prior is going to have, having done both Thieves Town and now Palace of Darkness, is their sheet is going to blow open in terms of where they can go and where this Cane of Samaria could actually be.
Yeah, he'll just be able to go anywhere, and the cane could just be anywhere. And like every time he goes somewhere and it's not the cane, it was a waste of time.
I suppose this is the point where you start to prioritize. Oh, I'm going to have to do these dungeons anyway to get the crystal. I may as well check them all while I'm going through it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So he'll probably do Skull Woods and Desert and Swamp. But if the cane's not in any of those three, what then?
Has anyone cleared Skull Woods yet? I don't think so. I think I seen Prior in there earlier, but I don't think he got anything of interest.
I think Duke will be our first person here with the Fire Rod.
And Ellis is in here as well, but doesn't have the Fire Rod because he haven't been to Thieves Town yet.
kind of fun that everybody's taking like completely different routes through the game.
They've all taken different routes, and they all have sort of different advantages over the others, but they're all pretty much at the same pace.
Yeah, at this point, it's basically impossible to tell like who's ahead or behind because we have no idea where that King of Smart is.
That'd be very useful for Scruff Ninja, because he's probably feeling behind after not going to CAC so early. But at this rate, he's pretty much on point with the rest of our runners.
Oh, Mothula giving Duke a little bit of trouble here. Fortunately taking a death.
Yeah, when Mothula hangs about the top of the screen like that, it can be pretty hard to land the damage and get it to stick. I'm sure having a temper shot to spin slash will be very helpful to him.
It'd be nice. All right, Prior, you have all the good stuff that we know where it is. Where do you go? Well, he's going to activate his flute, but then where does he go?
The problem with it is Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain are the most item-dense locations to check. So it makes sense to make the play up there. The only thing we haven't seen up there is Tower of Power. And I suppose the Ether Tablet.
I think there's a good chance he might dip into Skullwoods first, since he's standing right there.
And 1.0 isn't Moth immune to spins from level 3 plus. He is immune to spins from level 3 plus. In Rando, they sort of fixed it so the Butter Sword does the same as the Temper Sword. It's essentially the Temper Sword for that fight. But he's still immune to the spikes, and he will not take any damage if you spin slash him. It just annoys Koi, that's why I like to wind them up about it.
Well, I don't think annoy is the right word.
You usually get pretty agitated.
I am trying to help people, man. It is not common knowledge for people to know that you can't spin him with the Tempered Sword. And I want everyone to be aware so that they don't take extra damage on Mothula.
There's this thing called Trial by Fire. You learn these things by experimenting with these things.
You see it happen so often, though. Like, I'm starting to think people don't realize what's actually happening. Like, maybe they just think that the spin missed. And they don't realize that he was just immune.
Yes, when they do it the first time and then you see it hit, but they question it, so they do it again, and you're like, nope, they definitely don't know at this point.
Alright, Duke headed back to Mothula. It's not going to be any easier this time, though. He actually has fewer hearts and magic than the first time he was here.
And Pryor is close on his heels.
Much better fight there for Duke. Thanks, Mothula. Just 20 rupees, but it is a crystal. He needs that. Pryor right behind, taking down Mothula as well.
Choosing
little
to
easier
not
fight.
spin slash him.
Yeah, the Tempered Sword makes it a bit simpler.
And Ella's finishing up Thieves Town, getting near their second crystal.
Yeah, following picking up this mirror, Aloof will be basically where Pryor's at, as far as items go. The big difference here is that Quake medallion. Quake was a Gina's cave, if I remember.
It
was
was
that
Lower
Ether?
Paradox.
Oh, and Ether was in.
Ether was in Akina's
okay.
cave, yeah.
Okay, so that's good news for Liz, because Agina is a lot more out of the way than just going to the mountain.
Yeah, Paradox Cave is one of those ones you'll check on the way there. Assuming you're not in like complete go mode at that point.
So I would honestly expect Aloof to head to Desert very, very soon. It's the one thing he wasn't able to check with those boots that he got. But the mirror with the myths will give him access.
And Pierre checking the checkerboard cave. It's a red thing, but it's not the cane. It's a mail upgrade.
Half credit for being red. It's basically go mode.
Is Pierre going to swamp?
It looks that way.
The king could be in here.
It makes sense from his point of view, right? Like, he wants to be doing Crystal Dungeons as much as he can, and this is the only one he can full clear.
Yep, because Pierre knows that Desert is book slot, because they were in there earlier with that early book. So yeah, swamp would be the next logical play. And there is a good, like, 6 items in here. Duke checking above the poles and did not find our red cane. The book was in the back of Shahashal's hut. It was one of the 3 checks in there.
I think we've seen Bombo's tablet, but I don't remember seeing Ether quite yet.
No, no one else has been up to Death Mountain except for Ellis, and Ellis doesn't have the book.
Yeah, this whole seed is coming down to a race to Samaria. There's still quite a few locations that it could be at. We haven't seen Hera, we haven't seen Ether Tablet, we haven't seen the rest of Desert, and we haven't seen Swamp. Although Prior's doing that now.
And we haven't seen Ice Bells.
Oh, and Ice Bells, yeah. I don't want it to be there, so I was forgetting it on purpose. Thanks, Doris.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a savage. I'm from Scotland. We're all savages. We want to see we want to see them suffer. Who puts a bee in a bottle in a chest that can't be opened?
Ganon. Mr. Scruff Ninja showing us that hitboxes are more of a suggestion than anything else on Blind. Getting his crystal is a third.
Yeah, it turns out you don't actually need hitboxes to tell.
This is surprising to me that Elise is going to Skullwoods before Desert. Because it was a pretty big gamble to go to those boots, right?
Yeah, it would make sense to follow through with all the checks to make sure it was like, yep, these boots were definitely worth going to get.
Desert's something he's definitely going to be doing soon. And he's going to have to do Skullwoods anyway, so it's not that crazy. But I think I might have done Desert first just because I had the boots so much quicker than everybody else. And he knows that he got the boots quicker than everybody else because most people would not want to do the double dip even if they knew the boots were there.
Although that half magic is going to make very quick work of Mothula.
Left side Swamp coming out with a heart container. And some rupees.
The other thing to consider is completing Desert would give you your 5-6 combo. So that's another 2 checks that are locked behind the boots that just came to me head there.
That's a good point, yeah. And it's real nice to pair going to Pyramid Fairy after doing Swamp since you're already in the Dark World in that area. Alright, there he goes. He's going to Desert now.
Where was the mirror? The mirror was in the brewery of Village of Outcasts. Swamp has been empty so far. There's been a heart container, and that's really about it so far.
Yeah, we have 4 checks left. There's 1.
It's another piece of heart, or full heart. It's not what you want to see, especially when you decided to pick up the red mail instead of just leaving it behind on checkerboard.
Right.
Oh, there's the cane.
Oh my gosh.
So Swamp is the play.
So this is a very good news for Prior, being our first runner to find that cane. He will have to go to the mountain to get the Quake Medallion, but that's very much on the way.
Yep, and when he goes into Spectacle Rock to get that, if he gets that hint tile, he'll find out that the boots are in Mire, and that will be his Gomo.
Luz, of course, is not really behind at this point either, though, because he does have the Quake Medallion. And Swamp is his next most logical place to go.
Yep, finish off here in Desert and go straight over to Swamp. Pierre going back in for that big chest because our big key was locked at the back. Looks like Duke is finally taking that dip into the Palace of Darkness. We'll be able to obtain their hookshot, their Titan's Mitts, and their flute.
Very nice land move right there from Luz.
Yep, Fire Rod is the next best thing when you don't have silvers.
Prior's headed up to Spectacle Rock Cave. This is good for him, because if he checks the hint, he'll find out where boots are. But he's not checking the hint, darn it. But this does make me a little worried that he's going to go into Tower of Hera, just because it's on the way. He may opt to save it for the last thing he does on the mountain, though.
Yeah, so Prior's up to over there depended on him reading that hint and taking the time to go get that hint. Unfortunately, with him skipping out, because it was only bombs. So he'll check Ether, probably do Tower of Hera, and then clear out Eastern Death Mountain. Prior does know that Meyer is locked by Quake, so he may decide that, okay, now I can get in there, I may as well do it because I can full clear it. In which case he would pick up the boots that way.
Yeah, it all comes down to like his mentality for the game, right? Like some players like to route in such a way that they're planning to full clear the game and want to do so as efficiently as possible, and just whenever they get Gomo, they get Gomo. Other players like to take gambles and avoid like really awkward or unnecessary locations and hope that their Gomo isn't there.
Yeah, so in this case, Prior's chosen to check out Turtle Rock and chosen to completely ignore Hera, and that's because Hera's a pendant and they're far easier and quicker checks to make over here in Dark Death Mountain than there would be to climb Tower of Hera.
Yeah, the worry is that he's gonna find the Quake Medallion here and be able to do Turtle Rock, right? So he does Turtle Rock, but he's still going to be boots short from Go mode, and having no knowledge of where those are. Does he leave and just go to Meyer, or does he like not risk the extra climb up the mountain and just finish up Tower of Hera? It's kind of a tough call.
It's one of these things you have to gamble. Because there's no way you can know where the boots are unless you read the hints. And it just so happens that this time the hint for the boots happens to be
The one he
in
skipped.
Spectacle Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason boots are required, for those who don't know, in Desert Palace, depending on how the keys are positioned, if there is a big key or a small key on the torch, it is very well. In the case of the big key, it is 100% boots are required. In terms of the small key, if you can get the big key in the other chests, boots may not be required, although logically they would be. But if you can get the big key without going into the right-hand side of the desert, you can skip boots, essentially. It really does just come down to where are items placed in that dungeon. So Prior are about to pick up their Quake, and Ellis is about to pick up their Red Cane, which will put Ellis in go mode.
I'm so worried for Prior right now.
Yep, there's nothing we can do until we see where he's decided to go. If he decides to go into Turtle Rock, or if he decides to go into Mirror.
I mean, we know he has to go to Mire, right? But from his point of view, nothing makes more sense than full clearing Turtle Rock right now.
Yeah, the difference between go mode and Turtle Rock and just clearing it fully anyway is there's very minimal changes you can make.
Yeah, that's not the big concern. The big concern is, do I do Tower of Terror before I leave the mountain? Or do I just go to Mire and hope those 2 items are the boots?
Honestly, I have this idea is like, if you have the equipment to clear Turtle Rock and you're up here, you may as well do it, because the time you're gonna waste like getting all your items and then trying to go mode Turtle Rock is like, you're not saving that much by go mode in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, for sure. I think if I was in Prior's position, I would probably do Tower of Hera here after Turtle Rock. I would not want to put myself in a position where I'm climbing the mountain at an extra time. And I would get royally burned for it in this seed. Although I probably would have checked the hint too. Alright, this will be a very quick Mire dip for Luce. He's already been here. I think he even has the big key already. So
yep,
straight to the boss.
Ellis would have full cleared it to get that half magic. So they can just run straight to the boss. Yes, the elusive silver arrows are still missing. Thankfully, they are not required, but they are very nice to have.
So you might have noticed Luce kicking up some dust with the boots right before placing down that Samaria block. He's going to be doing a glitch known as Spooky Action from a distance here in Misery Mire. Watch very, very carefully. Oh my god, that's so spooky. Hitting those crystal switches without hitting those crystal switches.
So I have never actually experienced that glitch until I started watching these daily races. I have no idea that was a thing, and I have no understanding of how it works.
Oh, it's actually like the execution for it is super duper simple. If you remind me, I will link you a video later. It's not like the biggest time save or anything. I think it takes like 15 seconds or something. But it's super duper cool. Impress all your friends.
It would definitely help for things like if you had to do that dark room. If you had to do
it is possible in the dark, but it's pretty much not impossible. Not possible in the dark. It's a timing thing, and if when you don't know exactly where you are, it's not something you can do very easily.
Yeah, spooky things should be easier to do in the dark.
You know, I'm not sure that I can follow your logic there, but I like it. Okay, it looks like Oluz is going to be entering to a rock right as Pryor gets to the back.
So Koi would be better explaining what the spooky glitch is to you, but essentially you can activate the red-blue crystal switches without actually aiming at them or even looking at them.
Yeah, the idea is that the fire rod has like these two components. One is the actual fire rod shot, and the other is like this area of effect around it. That's why sometimes you kill two things with one fire rod shot. And the glitch manipulates the height on the screen where the area of effect component actually happens. So I fire rod something far south on the screen, and the area of effect happens much higher up where the crystal switch is, letting you hit the crystal switch without being near it. I could explain it in more words, but it becomes confusing, and then I start crying. But the main takeaway is it's really not very hard to do once you know.
We'll keep it simple.
Oh, it's less spooky now because I explained it. It's magic, you guys. So Pryor finishes off Trinex here.
So the concern now is, where does Pryor go at this point? Does he mirror it and flip to Meyer, or does he walk over to Tower of Hera?
So Tower of Hera is 2 items, and I think he's also hasn't done Spikecade, which would be a 3rd item. Where Myers also only 2 items, but wouldn't involve him reclimbing the mountain.
Your argument being is like Meyer's required.
Yeah,
because he's got a crystal in it.
With the mirror, he can always get to Tower of Hera real quick if that's ended up being where his go mode was. But this is good news for Pryor going straight into Meyer. He does not know the boots are here. He did not check the hint tile, but he will be rewarded all the same.
And in case anyone was wondering what's actually in Tower of Hera, Mr. Scruff is in there now.
Oh, poor Mr. Scruff.
So we already seen the first item that is 10 arrows. Hopefully this hints something useful. Don't have to go into West Wing Swamp.
I mean, it's kind of useful if you haven't been in Swamp already, which he has, so never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has already done it, yep. So Ellis was our only runner to choose not to pick up the red mail from Checkerboard Cave.
Not word.
A bottle in the chest requires a specialist to unlock.
Another good hint if you haven't already done that.
It should just say purple chest is vanilla.
So clearly the god route in this seed was to go to Tower of Hera much earlier and skip Left Side Swamp and Purple Chest. And Aluz takes down the boss of Turtle Rock, Trinex, the one and only, and picks up his 7th crystal. From here, he will have just a short walk over to Ganon's Tower. In Ganon's Tower, there are 22? 22! Chet, I've played this game before. 22 chests that could have the Ganon's Tower big key required for him to finish the game. If you would like to guess which chest Aluz will open and find the big key in, do so now.
Which number are you going for, Kai?
1.
1?
1.
After all this, you think the seat's going to be easy on them?
Losing to Ganon's Tower big key routing is like the worst feeling in the world. I want it as early as possible. Okay, that was actually kind of dramatic, huh? It's not even close to the worst feeling in the world. It's the worst feeling in racing A Link to the Past.
So Duke has also found Earthquake. So Duke is just missing the boots from Meyer, which they now have access to. And Pryor is already in Misery Mire. He's looking for his big key to be able to take down Vitreous. And Mr. Scruff also picking up the Earthquake.
Looks like the compass room not paying off for Aluz. He'll head over to the left side. I think we're on number 7.
The torch there would have been 7. think my chest infection is trying to get the better of me at this point.
Number 8, just 20 rupees. We found a fetch quest, though.
That's it. You have to stop looking at Ganon's Tower and go out and hand in the fetch quest.
Well, the big key might be there, right? That's 11 chests down for a loose. Moving on to double fire bar.
I'm waiting for the key sanity where that is actually what happens. You have to go into Ganon's Tower to get a fetch item to get the big key.
Have you not had a seed where that happened yet?
No, I have not had a seed where that
I
happened
recommend playing much more Key Sanity. I think I've had Ganon's Tower Big Key locked behind a fetch quest in Ganon's Tower maybe like 6 or 7 times. It's horrible. I've lost count again. Maybe 13.
Yeah, so 13. So it'll be 14, 15, 16, and 17 in these next 4 chests. $16! Who picked 16?
There we go. That is our Ganon's Tower Big Key. A loose just has the gauntlet to go.
Vince Easter, congratulations, you have won. You can now brag to all your friends that you won the Ganon guessing game.
GG.
Yep, so Prior has finished up in Misery Mire. All he has to do is mirror out to Desert and obtain his last crystal from Land Moss. And he will be joining Ellis in Ganon's Tower. Meanwhile, Mr. Scruff and Duke are inside Turtle Rock, looking for their boots.
So what was the big difference maker this scene? It's easy to point to like the boots, right? And say like Alou saved a bunch of time from having the boots, but I don't think that saved as much time. Because he did have to double dip a dungeon.
I think honestly finding Quake first before finding your boots would have been, or at least finding Quake first without having the equipment to clear Turtle Rock, because that pulls you straight off the mountain and you didn't worry about going through Turtle Rock.
Well, they'd have the same number of mountain climbs, right? Like one climb that got you Quake, and then one climb that got you to GT.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Prior full cleared Turtle Rock, and that was a time difference. But Alou ended up going to like Laser Bridge to get the last key, so it wasn't as big as it could have been.
Yeah, the only chest that was skipped was the very, very last chest on Laser Bridge.
The chat's telling me that everybody else climbed more. Did they? Like Alou had done the mountain climb a lot earlier, and to get the Quake medallion, and then their last climb was for Turtle Rock and GT. But I think Prior's first climb was to get Quake and Turtle Rock, and then had to do a second climb here in a bit to get to GT.
Yeah, because Elus never had the mirror when they came up, so they had to do normal normal Death Mountain, and then they would have had to came out and did Dark Death Mountain from that. But they didn't. They chose the second they got Quake to just haul it straight to Mire.
John Flip has the answer. The spooky glitch. The spooky action from a distance. That's the difference maker. I think honestly, like from what I'm looking at, it's mostly just like little things like that. Like the however much time the boots save, go moding Turtle Rock, however little time that saved, the spooky glitch, just general execution and enemy RNG, all that added up over the course of the seed. Yeah, skipping left side swamp, that's a good point. Some seeds, it's really easy to see the difference. Like, this guy went to Catfish, and this guy didn't. And that's why the first guy won by 10 minutes. But this one's not nearly as straightforward.
Yeah, it's literally just a lot of little things adding up. Because they essentially have the same item pool at the end of the seed, so they've checked pretty much the same things.
Unfortunately, Pryor also going to go over to Compass Room. So no time save there. But Elus starts the Ganon fight. Now he does not have silver, so we will get to see a silverless Ganon.
Yep, but that butter sword will make it very easy.
Didn't we see silver somewhere?
Nope, we have not saw silvers at all.
Well, we'll get to see what Ganon says about him then. In the Dark World. Very helpful, Ganon. Appreciate that.
So where did we not check in Dark World then? Because we saw Spike.
I don't know.
We saw Spike Cave. Ah, yeah, chat pointing out that Scruff Ninja does have silvers.
Elus setting up triples on Ganon here. That's where you get 3 spins in a single torchlight.
So yeah, the blue game was on the bat, and the silvers are on the Spike Cave.
Ah, okay.
And the Magic Cape is in the back end of Turtle Rock, so you likely wouldn't have done it with Turtle. Or I suppose you could have chained it in with the Magic Cape.
And down goes Ganon for Elus. He takes first place here on the restream. GG's all to him.
Yep, Ellis has an official SRL time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 59 seconds. Ellis got sniped by 2 people.
Wow.
One of which is in the name of DT, who is lurking in chat right now. So just to show you how close it was, first place time was 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 2 seconds. So it was within 2 minutes.
It's pretty close. And we welcome Alus to the voice chat. How you doing, Alus? GG.
GG, thanks.
GG.
Pretty fantastic time, all things considered.
Yeah, it could have been better. There were people finishing ahead of me, so it could have been better, right?
To be fair, there was only 2 people ahead of you.
I think could have been
That's
better
true.
kind of applies to everyone's time in every seed.
I was second place.
guess.
God, I could have been better. Don't be so hard on yourself.
I wasn't particularly happy with my boss fights in GT, and I think I could have not done some overwatch checks here and there, and that could have led me first place. But you can't know beforehand that it's such a fast seed in which you don't even have to touch the pendants.
How do you feel about the dip into mire to get the boots early? Do you think that saved you enough time to make the double dip worth it?
Probably because going for Mire is like not too time consuming. I think that going back into Mire is really quick, and that it's definitely worth it to dip it for the boots. I also got half magic out of it, so
Yeah, that's true.
it was kind of twice as worth.
I mean, the big hope when you make a play like that is that the boots just lead to your go mode item.
Yeah, that's why I checked some boot locations, but unfortunately that did not happen.
Well, I think you did just fantastic.
Thank
Would have
you.
crushed me in
Well,
this scene at least.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't have had a chance.
Well, I'm happy overall with my execution, my decision making in the seat. I think overall it was just fine. Of course, I said it could have been better because I got beaten by 2 people in just 2 minutes, basically during my cannon fight, so that kind of stung. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how I did things and with my execution.
Yeah, I think in the end the seed just ended up lining up real nice for you.
Yeah, though, if you just do all the crystal dungeons, it would line up nice for just anybody.
Yeah, I think, but it changes a little bit based on like which crystal dungeons you do in which order, right? Like if you go to pod before Thieves Town, then you have the mitts and the mirror, and you might do like the smith checks. But if you did Thieves Town first, then maybe you get to skip those entirely.
Yeah, I did Smith Chain for example because I had the mitts. In hindsight, it was quite unnecessary in such a fast seed, but as I said before, you never know. I think the order of pod into Thieves Town was a bit better because then I didn't get baited into Eastern Palace. Because I said to myself, I would go into Eastern Palace if the mirror is in pod. In the end, I never went though.
Yeah, I think the early lamp and the early bow baited everybody to go over to Eastern.
Yeah,
was like,
I was.
I personally, I would have fallen for that as well. So I was like, I'm quite surprised you didn't do it.
I was tempted, but I figured after getting Darkward access, especially, it might point either to Eastern Palace or to pod. And then pod had all the goods, so I figured I won't go back to Eastern Palace until it's probably my last location. Yeah, but all those worries were not necessary.
Yeah, anytime you can identify what your last location would be, it's kind of unnerving until you find the go mode somewhere else.
So, Koi, I don't know if you noticed when Duke found the hint that his boots were in mire. We took it out just a little bit on the hint tile.
It deserved it. Hint tiles have no soul. Prior, also without the silvers, will be giving us a nice silverless Ganon fight.
I heard that silvers were in Spike Cave.
That's right, yes.
No way I'm going there in a sea like this.
Yeah, Pure Scruff was our only runner to go to Spike Cave, so it was the only one having a slightly easier time with Ganon.
Kill the pig! There he goes. Prior takes down Ganon. GG's to him. Well, assuming he doesn't fall off. But, like, who does that?
Kyung.
And Prior finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 6 seconds.
GG.
GG to Prior.
I guess that, like, walking across the bridge after you've defeated Ganon always reminds me of extra points in American football, which I assume you guys know nothing about. But it's like this really automatic thing that you just assume they're going to get the extra point. And like 99% of the time they do, but the casters never say anything about it until they actually get it, because there's that very small chance that something will happen.
Yeah, they can't afford to be wrong in that circumstance. I was like, he's made a touchdown. He just has to kick a ball between two poles. He'll be fine. And it's like, miss.
Oh, you do know about American football.
I watched the odd game. I used to watch it a bit more. So now, because I work 9 to 5, so trying to stay up to watch an American football game is like, yeah, we'll just stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, I'm up for work in 2 hours. It's like, no, can't do it anymore.
Now you started a discussion in chat, great job.
I haven't actually watched American football in maybe 2 or 3 years now. Just kind of got caught up in all the A Link to the Past randomizer fun. I ain't got time for physical sports. Dance game.
That doesn't sound like that's our fault. That sounds like that's your fault. But can I just say you have picked the more important choice?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like I really only get to watch the Super Bowl now, and it's like, ah, well, let's sit down for another year.
So I don't see Pryor joining the Discord. Are you in the IRC?
I am indeed.
Just curious if he's planning to join us or not. Oh, Duke getting caught by the antlion trap. Whoops. And Duke, already having been in this dungeon and stolen the key, only needs to get that small key to head on to Landma. But forgets that he stole the key and tries to find it in the pot.
It's one of those ones. You should check it anyway.
It's
It
a
may have
muscle memory
respawned.
thing. Like, how often do you go in that room and you don't open that pot?
Yeah, the muscle memory is really strong in that one.
Oh, we see Pryor in the Twitch chat. GG's Pryor.
GG Pryor.
Nice lane with that Fifer from Duke Firebird. He only needs to head up the mountain and into Ganon's Tower, just a little bit behind Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. So we have something of a race here if they go different ways looking for the big key.
It also goes to show that the like obvious mistake that Scruff made at the start hasn't cost him that much time. He hasn't cost him the race yet.
Yeah, I think like early game routing, like people like to put a lot more emphasis on how important it is, more than I think it deserves. Because like most of those locations, everyone's gonna do, right? Like you're gonna go to Kakariko, you're gonna go to South Shore. So what order you do them in is rarely really that significant. There's little things that can make a difference, like maybe finding a bottle in Mini Moldorm Cave so you can check Sick Kid while you're in Kakariko the first time. But on the whole, it ends up not being very significant. And none of the more out-of-the-way stuff ended up having progression in this seed. Nothing on Zora or Agina's Cave or anything. And Mr. Scrub Ninja Tuna is killing the Stout Foe, so it looks like he will be headed down to Random Room, which is where our big key is. Did you just frame roll through that fire bar? I think you did.
It's just, fire doesn't hurt me. I've got red mill. I'm fine.
Basically immune. And that's the big key for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. Quick mirror, and he's headed to the gauntlet.
Now has a big fancy riot shield to help him.
Isn't it a great effect right there?
Yeah, if it wasn't for the lag it caused, it's like the mirror shield is actually pretty useful.
Opting to burn a dash through the cannonball hallway. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, but it works.
It's like it didn't get knocked in. We call that a success.
And there's Duke's own big key. And he's not too far behind Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. Although, with those silvers, he's got a lot of time to catch up. But it's not so much time that like a phase 4 fall to Ganon or something couldn't make a difference.
We don't wish the fall to Ganon on anyone.
I mean, okay. Maybe a little bit.
So while our last two runners make their way up the Ganon's Tower Gauntlet, please do remember to give our runners a follow. Because getting out on stage and having themselves be restreamed for everybody, it can be quite a challenge. And remember to follow my co-commentator Koi as well, and our two trackers, Oro and Nelson Alex. I'm gonna apologize if I butcher any names.
What about you? Shouldn't they follow you?
If they like the Scottish accent, yes, they can certainly follow me.
Everyone likes the Scottish accent. It's
Not
like,
the Scottish hate the Scottish accent.
it's the best accent. Except maybe French.
To us, it's just another accent. That's how we normally sound.
I mean, it's definitely top 2 for me. Mr. Scruff Ninja, unfortunately taking a fall there to Moldorm. Just a little bit more time that Duke can catch up here.
So Duke not having to fight the lag during the Land Molas fight caused by the silver arrows and the mirror shield on top of the gold sword. That fight is just so laggy.
Aga giving Mr. Scruff a hard time today. He gets it done, though.
That molder on Duke's screen was not playing nice.
No falls, though.
Yes, the important part.
Alright, is 4 silver arrows to finish this fight. Just don't die and don't fall. That'll do it. GG to Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
Yep, GG to Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 40 seconds.
And Duke having a really nice Aga 2 fight. I think it was 3 or 4 cycles.
According to chat, it was just 3. But will not be that far behind.
Yeah, I think it was definitely Mr. Scruff's race to lose here. But he ended up not making enough mistakes for Duke to come out ahead. Thankfully, yes. And Mr. Scruff was our only runner to get those silvers, so Duke will be doing a silverless Ganon fight as well. And down goes Ganon. GG to Duke Firebird.
Yep, and Duke Firebird has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 9 seconds.
And we welcome to the voice chat the one, the only Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, as well as Duke Firebird. Welcome, guys. GG's.
GG's. GG's.
GG.
GG, guys.
So pretty awesome seed, right?
Yeah, if you route it right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The dang logic, man. It was so deceiving. Giving you a lamp and freaking bow and then be like, hey, you don't need to do Eastern at all.
Well, to be fair, it pointed apart, so you can go on from there. It
Oh.
was basically a 50-50.
Yeah, that pod was amazing. Holy cow. Let's see, we got what? The hook shot, the flute, mitts.
But yeah, that's it, but that's plenty.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, no, some seeds you get, and it's like, okay, well, all the progression items, they're in pendant dungeons or in like out of the way overworld spots, deep, horrible locations. And some seeds, it's just go to Crystal Dungeons, and this was definitely a go to Crystal Dungeons seed.
Yep. I do have to say, though, I am so happy that there is absolutely nothing worthwhile in Ice Palace, just due to the fact that I picked up everything else.
Yeah, not any of our restream runners ever even stepped foot into Ice Palace.
I'll be honest, that was my next location, and then oh, hi Spec. Thanks, Spec Rock.
Yeah, so you unleash a little bit of rage on that Hento.
Yeah, considering that was my go mode item, and I could have technically had that information early.
Oh, was the Spectacle Rock hint the Boots location?
Yes, it
Mhm.
was.
Yep.
I never went to
Oh.
Death Mountain until literally it was like my last chunk of stuff. I was making a huge gamble, and I didn't even do left side. I went east.
I was the same. I didn't even bother to check that hint. I figured, there's bombs there. There's no point in me going right now, because I left everything till the... Except for Silver's, apparently, because I was the only one that's checked Spike Cave.
Wait, they were in Spike Cave? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've been burned way too many times by Spike Cave to not check.
I left a lot of my Dark World open, so okay. Good to know. Wait a minute. Oh, I blame that boots hint now because I would have gotten that Spike Cave. Dang it!
But GG's anyway, this was a fun seed. Appreciate everyone doing the work. Trackers, comment, SG for being awesome.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. That you guys, there wouldn't be a show, so
Well,
much
I mean-
love to the back end. much love to the back end.
Oh yeah, and GG still is for that sub 90.
I kind of feel like if we
Yeah,
had no
that's eight.
commentators,
Huh.
and it would... I'll go
Thanks.
ahead, Liz.
I just wanted to thank him. Go ahead. Sorry, it's your job to commentate.
Ah,
not
it's-
mine.
I was just gonna say that I'm not sure that the commentary is really all that important. I feel like if it was just 4 restreamed runners up on the screen and we could just watch and somebody would track it, like people would still watch that, no commentary necessary.
They would watch it, but it wouldn't be as entertaining. I can.
True.
I know this because I've that last year. I was in a Celeste tournament, and some of the Celeste matches had no commentary. So it was like, we're just watching the game. It's not really that engaging. We're just watching the run.
Yeah, I think
Whereas the commentated matches were like, oh hey, we could talk about this tech, or we could talk about what's going on here.
I
Good
think
comments from the
commentary is
peanut
like
gallery.
half the fun on those. I think you underestimate yourself or your role a bit. I think it's kind of important, and I always love good commentary.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it obviously, but I think, or I believe you guys did a very good job.
Well, it's Koi. He of course did a good job.
Oh yeah, of course.
I try.
That's why we keep letting them back every day.
Nobody else signs up.
Hey, I would have signed up, but I'm like, I haven't played in a long time, so let me play.
Yeah, that was my attitude.
Let's shout it out a little bit, guys. The the commentary and the tracking and all that is completely on a volunteer basis. No requirements necessary. If you want to be a part of speed gaming and you want to do commentary and tracking for these daily races, it is as simple as going to the speed gaming Discord and signing up. That's it.
Yep.
There's no vetting process. You just sign up and there you go, you're in.
Well, there's a small little bit of vetting process. You have to know the game. But even the basics are enough.
But guys, make sure that we do follow those runners. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, Duke Firebird, Prior 57, and Loose, our winner here on the restream. They did such a fantastic job for us, putting themselves out there, showing everybody how good or maybe bad they were. Doing their best, though, absolutely.
Showing how not to rat a seed.
Showing that safe routing is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely deserve your love. Make sure you go to their channels, click that follow button, show them how much you appreciate them.
Because without those runners, we wouldn't have anything to do. We wouldn't have these races.
Do you think we could hold the show without the runners, though? Maybe, because they said that they needed the commentary to have the show, but could we do it without the runners? Just
at that point, doesn't it just become a podcast?
Just shooting the breeze, as it were. We could talk about Scotland a lot, I bet. I would love to learn about Scotland.
It's wet. When it's not wet, it's really beautiful. But right now, it's kind of wet.
I am intrigued. All right, guys. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. Does anybody else have any thoughts on the seed they'd like to share before we sign off?
Visit Scotland.
Not really.
It was a fun seed. Again, thanks everybody. Thanks chat for watching too. Because honestly, if it wasn't for chat, we wouldn't be doing this at all.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, chat. Clearly the most important cog in the machine. Thank you, chat. Much love to chat. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure you stay tuned to Speed Gaming channels for more speedrunning fun. We have dailies twice a day, Monday through Friday, and then an open weekly on Sunday as well. But that's going to be it for us today. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.